Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to welcome another quarterback into the Heisman Club this year because Cam Ward, as great a season as he had, is not going to win the Heisman, although I'm sure he'll be there up in New York. Gino comes to us courtesy of Evening's Delight, South Florida's source for all outdoor kitchen, grilling, and tailgate needs. They have a full line of grills, smokers, and more. Evening's Delight has 2 locations, Pinecrest and Davie. Traditions are better with Traeger, so grab a Traeger grill during the holiday sale and add wood-fired flavor to your festivities. It's going on now through December 24th. You can get up to $400 off select Traeger grills, plus save on pellets, rubs, and more. I'm going to jump right into it. We have a lot of stuff that we want to talk with you about, Gino. I want to talk about the Wendy's Super Bar, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
The McRib, the McDonald's snack wrap. I have a lot of stuff that I want to get to, the Pizza Hut buffet. But I'm going to start with the
I still have one of those spatulas from the one on US 1 that's now Starbucks that we used to go to.
You took the spatula. That's a great spatula.
It is. It's phenomenal. Think about that. It's like got to be 35, 40 years old, and I'd still use it.
It was a good, firm spatula. Yeah. I used to have all my silverware was from Tony Roma's across from.
Mine might have been from the mess hall too, from the whatever they called that 960 or whatever, wherever we used to eat.
Did anything ever taste better than Captain Crunch out of that Lucite container at that in that cafeteria?
You know how you say, your college experience was a little bit different than mine. I would say my college experience definitely for breakfast was different than yours because we had our own, it was basketball and football, had our own little dining hall. So when we went in there for breakfast, you had, if you wanted an omelet made, right then, if you wanted a couple eggs fried over easy. So I wasn't messing with the Captain Crunch out of the.
Yeah, I had to wait in a line with a zillion people if I wanted to get some eggs, or I could walk over to the Captain Crunch container. And we'd pull out the old Miami Hurricane, see the latest column from Dan Levitard, and read my Hurricane, eat my Captain Crunch. I think it had something to do with Pell Grants. Totally different story, though. Topic for a different day. Gino, so does Alabama belong in the college football playoffs with 3 losses over the University of Miami with 2 losses?
No. Our argument should not go any farther than let's look at the records. Everything that's done in sports, the NFL, every playoff system is records first. If records are tied, then you can bring other metrics into it. But as far as I'm concerned, if you have 4 Power 4 conferences, so they are deemed, they're all supposed to be the same. Now, obviously, I'm not going to tell you that the depth of the ACC is better than SEC or Big Ten. But if you're telling us that the conferences are all the same, the records should be the first and foremost. And then you go from there. So I don't think there should have been even a discussion if the records are different. But again, this lobbying should have been done when Miami lost to Syracuse. I'm sorry. I mean, we
it's too late now.
The press at that point in time, politicking, because the SEC was crying. They were crying for the last month about getting a 3-loss SEC team in over one of these other Power 4 conference teams. So they've been doing it for quite some time, and it worked. It broke down the committee, and they put Alabama in, and it sucks. And listen, as a player, former player there, we used to always say it's like 12-0 was our mantra, and it was as much of do not give somebody else the opportunity to take the postseason and the opportunity away from you. And I think by losing to Syracuse, they put it in somebody else's hands in judgment and what I would call a recency bias of, whoa, Alabama's got a great roster. Yeah, sure, Alabama's got a great roster. But, I mean, to lose, they got their butts kicked by Oklahoma, who's a 5-loss team. I'm kind of speechless, to be honest with you, but I'm not surprised at the bias for the SEC.
That's the part that drives me crazy, and that's kind of what I've tried to say all week is I get it. You know what? If you want to do 3 losses in an SEC conference is better than 2 losses from a team in the Mountain West, I'm with you. But for ACC, like the Power 4, like I
should be considered the same. It should be like the NFC Central, AFC East.
Correct.
Hey, listen, these are the conferences in the NFL.
To figure out who goes to the postseason is the record. That's it. And then you go to tiebreakers.
Again, I think you and I were on the same page last year where the committee interjected themselves and basically took an undefeated Florida State team and said, well, they wouldn't have been undefeated without Jordan Travis, and he's hurt, so we're not going to give him the opportunity. So what did they do last year? They said the regular season really doesn't mean anything. We're going to put in this tournament who we want to put in, and we're going to seed them how we want to seed them. And to me, that is just it's a travesty. Listen, Florida State got screwed last year. Miami got screwed this year, but it's basically the ACC is getting screwed 2 years in a row.
Yep, totally agree. What do you do? How do you write the postmortem on this Hurricane season? Because you had incredible wins. The win over Cal will stick out in everyone's head. You had a top 10 team for much of the season. The 2 games you lost were by less than 10 points combined. You had a Heisman caliber quarterback. You had a record-setting wide receiver, but they don't even make the 12-team playoff. When it's all said and done, they won't be in there. How do you write the postmortem on this season? Was it an abject failure? Was it somewhere in between everything you wanted and abject failure? Like, I don't know what to do with the season in totality now.
I think that we have struggled for 20 plus years since Dorsey and his guys left. And I think that Mario had put together a team. We finally got the guy that can spin it under center and put us there. And to me, it was just a season of, great victories, but a season where we had everything in front of us and every opportunity to make the 12-team playoff, and we let it slip away. So I would say opportunities not taken advantage of would be the way I would look at this season.
We had a conversation yesterday. Crowder was asking, forget who it was, but do you spin this as a positive where, hey, if you're a quarterback like Cam Ward, who can go anywhere and maybe be a Heisman winner, do you look at this season in Miami and go, yeah, you were in the Heisman contention. They've got good NIL money. Like, that's a place I want to end up. Or is it a negative where people go, you had the best quarterback you've had in 20 years. You were unable to make an expanded playoff field. My services are better used elsewhere.
Well, I think that as a quarterback or any player, you want to play for championships. And I think that, whether we're going to try to go after 1 year hired guns like Cam Ward or we're going to, have guys that are on our roster for 4 or 5 years like myself, I think that's to be determined. I don't know if you want to continue to go after 1 year hired guns, if you will. You want to use the transfer portal to implement or supplement your roster and things like that. I think that, listen, you have an opportunity. As long as you take care of business, you're going to be able to get in the playoff. And I think that they just didn't finish the deal this year, and it's disappointing. But if you're a future player or a quarterback looking at this place, it has all of those things. It has the NIL, payments or whatever that's going to look like. It has the exposure, like it or not. Miami still drives ratings, and still people, love to hate us. And I would probably say that's why we probably didn't get in, is because we gave them an opportunity to just create a reason to not make the playoff. But I think we have everything. We have won championships. It's just, listen, Mario's gone from, what is he, 5-7, 7-6 to 10-2. That's a pretty good trajectory. It's better than the other schools that are up north.
Bottom line, if you can hold on to a 21-point lead over Syracuse, you're not in this situation.
No question. No question.
Criminal. It's criminal what the defense allowed to happen to Cam Ward and this team.
People are like, you look at Cam statistically, this guy almost threw for more touchdowns this year than I did my last 2 years. And one of those seasons, I won the freaking Heisman Trophy. Statistically, but we needed it. We needed all those yards. We needed all those touchdowns. Like Miami, I don't know, where do they go without a season like that from Cam Ward? Do we have 4 losses? Maybe, probably. And it's just to have that spectacular season and to not get it done. And I would say to not go down swinging at the end, because
you know how I feel about that.
I told you this. I told you this before they went there. We struggled. My team struggled at Syracuse, and I thought we were a lot better team. That's a tough place, a very tough place to play. And when you decide to kick a field goal, I understand if Coach Erickson would do that. My defense was number 1 in the country. We're not number 1 in the country. You have a guy that's your best player in 20 years. He has the ball in his hands. Give him a chance to make a play. If he doesn't, you still got to have a defensive stop, no matter anything. So, yeah, it was frustrating, to say the least.
Would you have said something again? You had top defense. Let's say you're in a game, defense getting carved up, and that second half, Syracuse, you can't stop them. Would you have said something if Dennis Erickson tried to say, "Hey, we're kicking a field goal here on 4th and goal"? Would you have gone, called timeout or whatever they had done and say, "No, you're not doing this to me. First of all, I'm trying to win a Heisman Trophy. You owe this to me."
I wouldn't have said I'm trying to win a Heisman Trophy, but I know this. I wouldn't have been the only one saying something, because I know my teammates on both sides of the ball would have been saying, "Give me the ball." And you know what I mean? The defensive guys would have been wanting to make a play, and the offensive guys. But Lamar, K-Dub, guys that I was throwing to, hell, they were politicking all the time to go for it on 4th down. And they were pleading their case, and I think they would have done that at that point in time, and especially with the rules changes now, are totally different than when I played. You get a first down, the clock stop. 3.5, 4 minutes to go in a game is like an eternity, the old clock, but now you can't stop it. Once the change or reset, it fires up again. So, yes, I would have been clamoring, and I would have been very upset not given the opportunity to at least have a shot at it, especially how it turns out. Now we can say this because it didn't turn out in our
Correct.
favor. So I would have been very upset.
But like you said, even if they kick the field goal, they have to get the stop still.
Yeah.
So even none of it adds up to me. I can't come up with a scenario unless you have a record-setting defense where you're going to get the ball back and you're actually playing for the win by going for the field goal.
Or you have some momentum. It's kind of like, in the 4th quarter, you see games where you're like, why is the coach going for the tie and not the win? But he's got some momentum, and it's like, man, if we're going OT from the 25, I know I'm gashing them on the ground. Hell, you know what? I'll take my chances, and I'm going to win. So, but heck, we can Monday morning or Sunday morning quarterback this thing to death. It just sucks that we might not see Cam Ward again in a Miami uniform.
Gino Torretta joins us every week, courtesy of Evening's Delight. Have you had a McRib yet? McRib season is back at McDonald's.
I have not. I'm in Baltimore right now, so I have not had the chance to go by and make a run.
But you love a McRib.
Yes, I'm very disappointed you don't have them with pickles, though, because I think the pickles and the onions actually are just like a perfect touch on the
So I
McRib.
did, when I got it the other night, I did keep the onions on. I think I was debating whether I would take the onions off or not and just have it in its natural state. But I did keep the onions on, but no pickles. I don't understand.
Natural state, like you're on a safari taking pictures.
Yeah, that's how. Well, I think that's how the McRib grows in the wild, is just the sauce and the pork plank. I don't think that there's onions on it. I think that's added in
I
post
want to know what
production.
you put the sauce on at your house. What have you used the sauce for at your house?
So McDonald's did send me a half gallon of McRib sauce. I have used it thus
thanks,
far.
McDonald's. I haven't got my half gallon yet. But go ahead.
Well, I'll post this video and make sure that you do. I have used it thus far on. I had a leftover half of a chicken Philly from Flanagan's. I drowned that baby in McRib sauce.
So it has
like
pasta sauce and McRib sauce?
No, it was a chicken Philly. It had just cheese and chicken. Yeah, not a pizza Philly.
The Italian Philly with pasta sauce.
What else have I put it on? I bring it with me to restaurants, so I always have. You know how some of the old ladies bring the sweet and low.
I have a question for you. What's the average number of meals you actually eat at home that are prepared in your home?
So we specifically moved downtown so that we could go out just about every night. But Lori would cook every night.
Now, this is coming from another middle-aged 50-plus guy. Please tell me you go to the doctor and monitor your blood lipids and your triglycerides.
Believe it or not, I'm not even on a lipid. My cholesterol is so good. Now, I am on blood pressure medication. That's something new in my life.
But you realize like eating out generally is not good for blood pressure.
Listen, for me, it all gets absorbed. I have a rock hard constitution, and nothing can penetrate my cholesterol levels. No, I'm flirting with high cholesterol, but I go for my physical every year, and I get my. I'm very aware that I am bordering on disaster. No, but Solana knows because he makes fun of me. Like I really don't eat that much. I don't eat breakfast, and then for lunch, like I had today, as you know, Gino, I think I had a packet of salmon. It's literally just one packet of salmon. I stick the fork right into the packet. It looks like cat food, but it's like 100.
It smells like cat food too. My wife loves that stuff too.
It's like 150 or 160 calories. Yeah, there's no nothing really but protein in it. That's all I have.
Do you eat the big sardines too?
No, but my wife loves those. My wife could eat sardines all day long out of a can.
The smell just is
it's too much for me. And now I'm having a cup of coffee, and I put my Miralax in here so that it's easier for me to go to the bathroom when I wake up.
Just to make sure to accelerate it through the system even more.
And then tonight is probably tonight.
What was that fraternity movie where the guys had taken the final? I can't even remember it.
I don't even know what it was. But I take a stool softener at night. I'm sure you do too, just to make sure.
Come on, absolutely.
Well, what do you take with? What do you wash down your Ambien with?
I can sleep fine. My pipes work just fine.
Well, mine do too, with the help of the Miralax and the stool softener.
Apparently, you're on like 3 stool softeners and accelerant.
I like to make sure. I like the feeling of complete evacuation. I don't know how you feel, but I like the feeling of complete
you're going to have
evacuation.
Complete evacuation. What do you keep a spare gallon of that stuff before you take your colonoscopy? You have some of that in your cupboard, and you take 16 ounces of that a night?
It's so funny because people, they go, "Oh, I got to go get the colonoscopy. I hate the prep or whatever." And I'm like, I love the prep. I love feeling that empty. Then get the anesthesia the next day. I love it. I'm all about a colonoscopy. I wish you had to get them every month.
You're a strange dude.
Sign me up. I want to be on the monthly plan.
I had one, Hawk, and I remember after having like the second glass of that stuff, I'm like, God, this stuff doesn't even work. And then it was like, oh boy, this stuff is undefeated here.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner, courtesy of our friends at Evening's Delight. Evening's Delight, that's South Florida source for all your outdoor kitchen, grilling, and tailgate needs. They've got a full line of grills, smokers, and more. 2 locations, Pinecrest and Davie. And once again, traditions are better with Traeger. So grab a Traeger grill during the holiday sale and get wood-fired flavor for your festivities. It's going on now through December 24th. You get up to $400 off select Traeger grills, plus save on pellets, rubs, and more. All right, enjoy yourself. Get a McRib while you're up there in Baltimore.
I will try.
And actually, if you do get a McRib, you don't need the accelerant that day. The McRib doubles as Miralax.
You're terrible.
See you, Gino. Gino Torretta. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more. I apologize about that, folks. Sometimes you just think you're a couple of 50-year-old guys just talking at the deli, and we don't realize everyone's listening in.